Progressives versus the moderates. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar. And for Pete Buttigieg, is Iowa a make-or-break moment? What we're learning right now. Also developing the audio released from the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash. The 911 calls tonight. Also at this hour, authorities on the scene right now, at least a half dozen school children hit by a pickup truck. At least one dead, several in critical condition. The driver did not stop. The coronavirus, and tonight health experts now saying it could become a global pandemic. While here in the U.S. tonight, 11 cases. And tonight, news coming in of a married couple infected with the virus rushed to the hospital, their conditions worsening. The deadly shooting on an American campus, 2 women killed inside a dorm. The school on lockdown. The passenger jet making an emergency landing, pilots reporting an engine problem and a blown tire just after takeoff. The flight circling for hours, a fighter jet escorting the plane to try to inspect the damage. The major storm on the move across the U.S. tonight, heavy snow, flooding, and possible tornadoes set to hit the south and right up into the northeast. How much snow and where? Ginger Z times this out. The desperate search for a missing boy tonight who needs medication. Missing now for a week with the storm coming. His parents make an emotional plea. And Rush Limbaugh revealing his personal health battle on the air today.
This is World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Des Moines, Iowa.
And good evening from Iowa tonight. We do have a lot to get to, and we begin tonight right here on the ground where the race for president officially begins. The first votes, the Iowa caucuses tonight. Momentum shifting in these recent days. Many of the polls showing progressive Bernie Sanders with the edge. President Trump taking a swipe at Sanders in just the last 24 hours. Joe Biden making an appeal to character, saying he's the best equipped to beat President Trump. Elizabeth Warren urging supporters, asking, do we take the timid approach or do we fight? And could Iowa be a make-or-break moment for moderates Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar, who many believe need a strong showing in Iowa to keep going? We have it all covered tonight, and what we're learning so far, who will Democrats choose to take on President Trump? ABC's Whit Johnson leads us off right here in Des Moines tonight.
Good to see you, sir. Good to see you.
On Decision Day in Iowa, the 2 leading centrist candidates have the state largely to themselves.
Feel good.
Former Vice President Joe Biden expressing confidence, but trying to manage expectations, telling the Des Moines Register it's okay if he doesn't win tonight.
You can survive not getting first place in Iowa.
We're going to survive all the way through this.
But former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg needs a strong showing here, selling himself as a moderate who could gain Midwest support, and Iowa is his chance to prove it.
Happy Caucus Day!
In the fight for Iowa's 41 delegates, centrist Biden, Buttigieg, and Senator Amy Klobuchar joining progressives like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, who sprinted out of the impeachment trial in D.C. late today, trying to make it to Iowa in the final hours.
There's a good turnout. I think we'll do just fine.
Sanders volunteers like Maru Pavone, knocking on 500,000 doors in just 1 month. Do you feel like your efforts out here have been successful?
I really do believe so. It's been really tiring, but at the same time, there's just like that surge of adrenaline that keeps me going, and I think it's made a difference.
As a sign of Sanders' momentum, President Trump using his giant Super Bowl platform to telegraph how he'd take him on.
I think he's a communist. I mean, you know, look, I think of communism when I think of Bernie.
And here in Iowa, Elizabeth Warren not about to yield the progressive mantle to Bernie Sanders.
And at this moment, you will decide here in Iowa, what do we do? Do we pull back? Do we cower? Do we take the timid approach? Or do we fight back? Me, I am in this to fight back. That's why I'm here.
And Whit Johnson is live at Sanders headquarters tonight across town. And Whit, Sanders has some real momentum heading into tonight's caucuses. But as you just reported there, Elizabeth Warren determined not only really to win progressives here, but she's trying to expand her reach to moderates as well.
That's right, David. Bernie Sanders claims to have the strongest grassroots movement in American history. People on the ground, a lot of energy here. Senator Warren has shifted her message in recent days, positioning herself as a candidate for unity with the fight needed to take on Trump. David?
Whit Johnson leading us off tonight with thank you across town here. Joe Biden's headquarters, and Biden just today said he's feeling good, but that he does not need an Iowa win to keep going. ABC's Eva Pilgrim is there tonight, and Eva, Joe Biden repeating that one message over and over again in these recent days, that he believes he is the candidate most able to beat President Trump.
That's right, David. Biden's team, though, downplaying expectations tonight in a major way. A senior strategist telling us that even if he doesn't win here tonight, they still think he's the most electable with broad appeal. Pete Buttigieg has been making a real play for those moderates, making the case for generational change. Senator Amy Klobuchar has been pitching her experience, hopeful that if Biden stumbles here tonight, that it will breathe new life into her campaign. Klobuchar and Buttigieg both need to have big nights here in Iowa, David.
A lot to watch. Eva Pilgrim, Whit Johnson, thanks to you both. Our powerhouse political team here all night. As the results come in, we'll bring them to you right here on ABC News and on ABC News Live, of course, now up and running, streaming everywhere with breaking news, context, and analysis. We hope you'll join us there as well. But there is a lot of other news this Monday night, and we have new reporting here on the deadly helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others. Just a short time ago, authorities releasing the 911 calls, and ABC's Will Carr tonight with the audio.
Tonight, authorities releasing the chilling 911 calls that came in just seconds after the helicopter carrying Kobe Bryant and 8 others crashed.
The helicopter crashed into a mountain. We heard it, and now I'm looking at the flames.
The helicopter, flying through heavy fog, slammed into the Calabasas Hills in Los Angeles just over a week ago.
I just heard a helicopter go over me. It went over my head. It thickened clouds, and then I heard a pop, and it immediately stopped.
How thick was that fog?
It was thick. Imagine jumping into a pool filled with milk and opening your eyes.
Federal investigators say the helicopter, in its last moments in the air, climbed, then descended rapidly, dropping over 2,000 feet per second. As the investigation continues, the NTSB confirms the helicopter did not have a terrain awareness warning system like the one seen here that's recommended for all helicopters with 6 or more passenger seats. It's unclear, though, if that system could have prevented the crash. This comes as fans and players continue to pay tribute to the all-time great, his daughter Gianna, and the rest of the victims. The NTSB plans to release a preliminary report into the crash as early as this week. David.
Will Carr tonight. Will, thank you. And we are following a terrible scene unfolding in Moore, Oklahoma tonight. Police say at least 5 children were struck by a pickup truck near a high school this afternoon. At least 1 child has died, others critically wounded. The driver, authorities say, did not stop. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, horror unfolding in this suburban neighborhood in Moore, Oklahoma.
They are requesting multiple units. Multiple kids have been run over by a car.
Just as the local high school was letting out, a red pickup truck barreling down the street, plowing into a group of students.
Headquarters, we're in need several ambulances. 2 or 3 started this way.
At least 1 student killed, another 5 critically injured. Classmates witnessing the terrifying scene.
He was screaming and crying, trying to help as much as he could.
Police say the suspect fled the scene, caught a few blocks away, seen here given a field sobriety test and taken into custody.
David, those students were rushed to the trauma center in Oklahoma City. The investigation just beginning tonight. David.
Ariel, thank you. And now to that deadly shooting at a college campus in Texas tonight. The Texas A&M Commerce campus put on lockdown for a time. Students and faculty were told to shelter in place after a shooting inside a residential hall. 2 women were found dead. A toddler also found in the room in stable condition tonight. The investigation now ongoing, but police say there does not appear to be any ongoing threat. There are major new developments tonight in the coronavirus. This evening, authorities are warning this could become a global pandemic. And here in the U.S. tonight, now 11 confirmed cases, and there is news that a married couple has been rushed to the hospital, their condition worsening. Here's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, global fears are growing over the coronavirus. Here in the U.S., at least 11 cases, 5 confirmed just this weekend in Massachusetts and California, including a married couple now hospitalized in San Francisco after their symptoms worsened. The husband recently visited Wuhan, then passed the virus to his wife. Today, our Dr. Jennifer Ashton visiting the National Institutes of Health, where they are working on a vaccine.
What do you think the chances are that this novel coronavirus outbreak could become a pandemic?
If it gets into countries in the developing world, like in Africa, where some of those countries don't have the healthcare system to do identification, isolation, and contact tracing, then the likelihood of it becoming a global pandemic is much bigger.
Nearly 4,000 people tonight aboard this Princess cruise ship are quarantined in Japan after a passenger who left the ship days ago was diagnosed with the virus. Chinese state television now showing the completion of 2 hospitals built over the last 10 days, one now ready to take patients. 361 people have died in China, and at least 17,000 people around the world have been infected with the virus. Across Asia, crews are spraying down planes and passengers arriving from China. The U.S. is now organizing more evacuation flights to get about 1,000 Americans out of Wuhan. But Justin Steese can't travel back with his family because his wife is not a citizen.
First time I've seen her cry about this the entire time. There's no way I would ever separate a mother and her 1-month-old baby.
And David, there are some major travel restrictions into the U.S. right now. Non-citizens who have been in China recently will not be allowed into the United States. Some citizens may have to be quarantined for 14 days. David.
Gio Benitez live at JFK Airport tonight. Gio, thank you. In the Capitol today, closing arguments in the impeachment trial of President Trump. The Democrats begging Republicans to, quote, do the right thing, even in this late hour. While some Republicans made it clear they don't think what the president did was appropriate, but they say it's not impeachable. Mary Bruce on the Hill tonight.
Heading towards defeat, Democrats on the Senate floor today with a final plea.
All is not lost. Even at this late hour, the Senate can still do the right thing.
Urging Republicans to consider the lens of history. Chairman Adam Schiff with a pointed warning.
You can't trust this president to do the right thing, not for 1 minute, not for one election, not for the sake of our country. You just can't. He will not change, and you know it.
But the president's lawyers argued the decision should be up to the American people.
The answer is elections, not impeachment.
They insist the president's effort to pressure Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden was completely appropriate.
The president has done nothing wrong.
But a growing number of Republican senators disagree, even as they prepare to acquit the president.
I think it's not something that should have been done, and I think that needlessly inviting a lot of controversy when you're going after a person that may not even be your opponent.
They say the president's actions, while not impeachable, were not right.
It's probably something that I wouldn't have done.
I think he shouldn't have done it. I think it was wrong.
Mary Bruce live on the Hill tonight. And Mary, Wednesday, of course, senators are expected to vote to acquit the president. But we know before then, the president will actually deliver his State of the Union message Tuesday night. Of course, the big question at this point, will the president talk about his impeachment or this trial?
Well, David, the White House says that the president plans to focus on a positive message, and Republicans I've talked to here on the Hill are urging the president to stay clear of the issue of impeachment entirely. But with Trump expected to be acquitted the very next day, the big question here is whether the president can resist the urge to claim victory. David.
Mary Bruce live with us tonight. Mary, thank you. And conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh with a very personal reveal today while on the air. Limbaugh talking about his battle with advanced lung cancer. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
I have to tell you something today that I wish I didn't have to tell you.
On the radio program that he has broadcast for the past 30 years, Rush Limbaugh shared today that he is fighting for his life.
I have been diagnosed with advanced lung cancer.
The kingmaker of conservatives, who often pokes his finger in the eyes of liberals, announced today that he'll need to take time away from the mic. The 69-year-old says that his doctors found the late-stage cancer after he started feeling short of breath, which he first thought was asthma.
There are going to be days that I'm not going to be able to be here because I'm undergoing treatment or I'm reacting to treatment.
Limbaugh has had health issues before, but nothing like this. He lost his hearing and got much of it back in 2001 with the help of a cochlear implant seen here. Over the years, Limbaugh has raised millions to fight cancer and says he'll be away from the show this week until Thursday. David?
Steve Osunsami tonight. Steve, thank you. And overseas tonight, the emergency landing for an Air Canada plane after an engine was damaged on takeoff from the airport in Madrid. A Spanish F-18 fighter jet flying alongside the aircraft to survey the damage. Pilots circling for hours above Madrid to burn off fuel. Passengers in the cabin cheering when the plane touched down safely. Authorities investigating how the engine was damaged. There is still much more